everyone, welcome back to Susan's Sunday Spotlight. This week I have a fun review game for you. It's called Beat the Teacher. Just like the game sounds, students are going to work together and try to beat the teacher, aka me, in many different subject areas. I'll teach you how to play the quick game and then I will give you a couple different ways you can use it in your classroom. So let's go. So all you'll need to play Beat the Teacher is you'll want to split up your students into groups of maybe 4 or 5 students per group. And I have students go to their team tables. If you don't have team tables, they can just spread around the room so they're not near each other. And you will give them one color marker, a different color per group, and then like a small poster board or just a piece of white paper is honestly totally fine depending on what you're doing for this. And then I am my own group because I'm the teacher portion of the Beat the Teacher game, and I will use my small whiteboard where they can't see. So usually this whiteboard right here or my whiteboard up front, and I turn it so they can't see it. So once they have their poster board and their marker, students are going to get in their group and you are going to tell them what they're trying to beat the teacher at. So at the beginning of the year, I might say words that start with A or B or C or D or any other letter in the alphabet. So I might say, okay, words that start with A. We would have reviewed all the sounds of the alphabet by this point, and students should know quite a few words that start with A from their time in kindergarten. So they'll get in their group and I will set the timer for 1 minute. Students will each take a turn, so there's only one marker at the table. And the reason I do this is because if they each have their own marker, a lot of times they will be writing the same words and we don't want to have any duplicates. So they take turns writing down a word that starts with A. And once they're done, they pass the marker around in their group, and their goal is to do it as fast as they can. As each group is filling out their own chart, I'm over on my board writing as many words as I can think of on my board as well. Once the timer goes off, everybody stops. We put our hands in the air, we freeze. And we count up how many words we have. So once the timer's gone off, I have all the students come back to the rug or to just a group meeting spot, and we have each of the poster boards. I usually will tape them up on the wall next to my board. We can count up who has the most and see if anybody beat me, the teacher. Since the timer's only set for 1 minute, it's a really short game, and even afterwards getting everybody to come over to the rug and look at each of the boards, it maybe takes 5 to 6 minutes total. So some of the things I like to do during this game is when students are at their seats, first of all, I tell them that they need to whisper. I have them separate so they can't hear each other's answers, and I always tell them that if they are being loud enough that another group can hear it or if I can hear it, I will steal. And so sometimes I sit there like, oh, did I just hear that word? Did I just hear something? And I'll try to steal it from them and write it on my board, but really I'm trying to focus on my own game just like they are supposed to. It just keeps the voice level down, because usually when there's an activity with a timer, tensions run high and kids might get a little amped up. So I try to keep that down by having them whisper to each other to give the answers. In terms of spelling, I taught first grade and I wasn't too concerned about their spelling, especially when I'm asking them to spell words that start with A. They might think of, aardvark and might not be able to spell it. As long as they're writing themselves on the board, and I do tell them that they can get help from a teammate, so as long as they're whispering it down to them, but they have to be the one writing it. And then once we pull the board's whole group, if I can't read it, it's okay, as long as whoever wrote it on the board can tell me what that word says, and it applies to the rule of words that start with A or whatever the rule is, it will still count as a team point. Sometimes I'll switch it up, and as we bring the whole group boards over to the rug and we're kind of seeing who's winning, I will say that if there are any duplicates, we cross them out and it won't count. So then instead of just the pure amount of words you came up with being the winner, it will be like whoever has the different words and things like that. Just adds a little twist to the game. Now, other ways we've played it before, like I said, the beginning of the year, we do words that start with this certain letter. I will do words that rhyme with. So after we've reviewed a little bit of rhyming words, I will say words that rhyme with cat. How many can you come up with in 1 minute? And they'll write those on their mat. Because this is a fast game and you're only working within a minute, you don't want it to be something that is really difficult for students. You want it to be something that, most students already know. It's like a quick review basically. So maybe after we've already studied digraphs, middle of the year, students know most of the words with digraphs, I will do a digraphs one. So words that start with or end with or have SH in them. I will do words that have S blends or L blends, anything like that. In math, one of my favorite ways is just how many ways can you make the number 7? Go. And that way they can do addition, subtraction, however they want to make that number 7 is totally up to them, and we see how many ways we have made it in 1 minute. Also, because this game is quick, sometimes I use it as a little time filler. So towards the end of the year, if you have like an extra 5 to 10 minutes, I might do how many ice cream flavors can you name in a minute? Or how many recess games can you name in a minute? How many sports can you name in a minute? Something like that. It's just a fun little activity for them to do. So that's how you play Beat the Teacher. It is a simple game that only takes about 5 minutes, and I love it because you can really review all sorts of different subjects with it. It gets students working in groups, and they have a lot of fun trying to beat me, per usual. If you enjoyed this game, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you can think of any other ways to use it in your classroom with some different skills, please go ahead and leave a comment below. To see more games and activities, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that bell. That way you get notified of every new video I upload. I'll see you next week. Bye. Now, already I'm sure you're thinking, does she let her students win? The answer is no. Never. Of course not. I mean, I won't smoke them, but, you know. Beat the teacher. Ding, ding, ding.